Angie is starting to become useful. If you didn't know, Elementor launched their agentic plugin a few months ago, but when it came out, it was not that powerful yet. It made quite a few mistakes, so I decided to not make a video about it, but now it's starting to become more interesting. Is it perfect? No, but it is really cool. We get a few credits per day for free, and it can actually save you quite a bit of time if you know how to use it. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is that as of today, it is a separate plugin you install, so you don't have to use Angie if you don't like it. But once you have it installed on your website, you get this option over here in WordPress. The chat shows up on the left. Inside of the Elementor editor is this button over here. The first feature that I think is pretty cool is importing global styles. So I'm here on a super clean, fresh new website. We can go to the design system over here. You can see there's no variables on this website and just a few classes. So this is the perfect moment to test if Angie can actually add all of the colors, typography settings, and more in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to websitestylekit.com, the web app that I made a few months ago. Many of you are already using it. You can basically generate a whole color palette. It's incredibly simple. You can also add a secondary color if you want. You can also set up your typography settings over here. So let's say that we want Google Sans for the heading font, and for the body font we want Nunito. Okay, so you can see the preview over here, and I now also have an export feature. And then in here, we can just see all of the colors. So I'm just gonna give all of this CSS to Angie and say like, hey, add all of these colors to the website. Let's see what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna ask it, can you add the following color variables? And I'm just gonna dump all of that CSS in there. And it says it is done. Let's go to the variables manager, and yes, all of the colors, including the correct names, are added here. Let's try the same with the typography. So I'm just gonna give it my font family, heading, and body. Because if you didn't know, you can also add font variables. And it says it has added the font family Numito, but Google Sans is not available. Okay, I guess we just need to replace it, but the functionality works, as you can see right here. Now let's make it a little bit harder by also asking it to add size variables, but then including with clamps. And yes, it said it is done, so let's check it out. Yes, we can see all the size variables here, including clamps. This saves me a lot of time. I don't have to connect an MCP to the website. Angie is just there. I get some free credits. I add some stuff. It works. This is cool. Now let's make it one step harder by asking it to add classes that are using the variables that we have just added. So I have prepared a master prompt here that basically says, I want you to create some button classes, including the variables and some other settings. So let's see what happens here. You can see how it's talking to itself. Okay, it says it is done. So now we should be able to see some classes here. Yes, let's test them. Let's drag in a button. We go to style and we search for button solid. That's not changing anything. Button soft, that one works. Button outline also works. And button small also works, but yeah, there is a problem still with the button small. My instructions was very clear over here, and it did not use color primary dark 1, which is absolutely on this website. So I think Angie could improve if it would check up on itself a little bit more, instead of just saying, hey, I'm done. Then page generation. Is it actually good right now? So here I have a website where there's a full framework, there's lots of classes, as you can see right here. So let's just give Angie a great challenge. Can you extend this page with 3 new sections, a testimonial section, a prices table, and a call to action box with an image background? Use the existing styling of this website. Okay, it's doing something now. Look at that, that is interesting. And it looks like it's stuck now. It has been like this for 2 minutes. Let's see if we can interrupt it. No, okay, so I'm just gonna stop it. Oh, and there it's going again. Okay, I'm not really sure sometimes whether it's still working or not. So some loading icon should be nice, but hey, It did what we asked. There is a testimonial section over here. It did not use our typography that we have set up on the website because we have a specific font for our heading. It did not use that. This is V4 Elements though. I guess the background, yeah, that is the right one. But then what is this in here? Oh, this is a V3 widget. Okay, so it's still mixing V3 with V4. I'm not completely happy with it. But this is kind of nice. So here we can see the same, an icon list. Okay, so V4 and V3 are mixed. It did create a pricing table though. And then we have these pricing plans. Wait, is that the same? Okay, so it did do the pricing plans double with a different design. Oh, this one is very close to what I wanted. That is pretty cool, but it does not use any of the classes on this website, and that is a problem. So I would highly recommend Elementor to give us an option to add instructions to Angie so it knows how to use the classes in the way we like, because everybody has their own framework, right? And Elementor cannot know exactly what class to use for what. So all Elementor has to do is add some kind of input box in here that would allow us to give these instructions. Because right now it's not using the classes, and the whole idea behind V4 was of course that we use classes in combination with variables, but it looks like right now it is only using the variables, and also not always, I guess. So it's really cool that page generation is now possible, but I think it should be fully V4. If it wants to use V3, I think it should ask the user, and some input on the classes would solve a lot. I also did a test, by the way, where I gave it a screenshot and I said, hey, can you make this layout? And that worked pretty well, but I had the same issues as I just showed you with the classes, and also a more complex grid. The first time it got it wrong, and the second time after I prompted it, it got better. So you can definitely also feed it screenshots. And then I also tested super admin mode. So apparently Angie has this feature, not just agent and plan mode, but also super admin. And that should be able to do a lot more powerful stuff like converting files. So here I have a situation where I have this post type for job. You can see these different posts, and then inside of each post there are fields with data. And I also have a CSV file prepared, because let's say somebody sends you a whole CSV file with a whole bunch more jobs. It can be 10, it can be 100, it can be 1,000. Back in the day, you would have to use a separate plugin to do that. But now I've heard that this should work, so I'm gonna add that file in here, a CSV file. So this is what that CSV file looks like, just a bunch of columns with data that corresponds with the fields we have right here. So let's ask it, can you add these 10 posts to the jobs custom post type made with ACF? The fields on the website correspond with the columns in the CSV. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's confirm. Okay, it says it is done. So let's refresh. And yes, it has worked. This is definitely more than what we had before. Let's check the battery swap technician. And yes, all of the data is in here. This is really, really cool. And then lastly, widget generation. You probably have seen this already, but Angie can now create widgets. Unfortunately, only version 3. So for example, I created this pricing chart widget. This widget did not exist a few prompts ago. I also created this before and after slider, which actually works well on the front end. And when I ask it to create a V4 widget, it just used containers and V4 elements, and that's okay for something like this, a pricing table. You can definitely do that with the normal basic atomic widgets. But if you want something custom, like for example, something like this, something that animates, something that's not possible with the default widgets, then yeah, for now it's V3. I hope a V4 will come soon. This one I didn't create myself. This one is also interesting. This one comes from the community library. So apparently they have a library right now, here, community library, where you can see what widgets other people made from the Elementor community. And here you can see the one that I just imported. So this is pretty cool. You can get some inspiration for widget generation. Unfortunately, there's no preview. That will be cool to see what the widget does, but you can already get some idea by just looking at the pictures. And then lastly, which is pretty nice, is that there's a cloud library. So let's say that you have created a widget, you're really happy with it, you can save it to your global Elementor account, and then you can use it on other websites so that you don't have to waste tokens. Talking about tokens, you do get some free tokens per day, like I said, but it's also connected to your Elementor One account. Because the One accounts have AI credits. You can see that I've used up quite a bit in order to test all of this. The one thing that I hope is that they will add an option here to buy more tokens, because some people will really like this. They want to keep working in this instead of just messing with MCPs, because that's of course technically harder. So then it would be great if you can buy more widgets. That's good for Elementor business model. And for the people that use another MCP, it doesn't matter anyways. And that brings me to my conclusion. This, as you can see, is a lot better than what it was when this one's first released, but it's not as powerful as having full MCP control as I and many of you have already experienced. So if I were Elementor, I would consider just making this a lot more powerful. I know right now Angie is choosing what model is using, but since WordPress 7, we have the connectors over here that allow you to just bring your own API key. So why not connect Angie with this? Why not give us skill files? Why not make it super duper powerful? Because that's what Elementor V4 is all about. And I think Elementor really needs to do this because the V4 release has been slow. As I said in one of my previous videos, I was not happy with the V4 release. It was not done. It's still not done, even though we now have the loop grid and the CSS grid. I'm working on a video of the loop grid. That's a very essential feature, but in general, I think Angie can be a lot more powerful, and I think that fits the direction where Elementor is going, but they have to move fast because the competition is getting better and better. We can all see that. Many people are getting curious right now to look outside of Elementor, even outside of WordPress. So Elementor has a lot of work to do. So that's my conclusion in August of 2026. What do you think? Let me know in the comments as always, and then I hope to see you in one of my next videos.